Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Audra puts her plan into action and Holden explodes Tuesday, June 10th, 2025. Today on The Young and the Restless, Audra asks Kyle to join her in France. Damien gives Lily a meaningful gift, and Holden cuts ties with Damien. Lily meets Damien at Crimson Lights, and he tells her he has something for her. A present. She asks why. He says it's a gesture, not romantic but friendly. He knows better than to push, at least for now. Lily hopes the gift isn't lavish. Damien teases her about diamonds and sapphires, and then reassures her that it's reasonably humble. It's a thank you for keeping her word about their agreement. Lily gets it, she's been deceived in the past as well. Damien presents the gift, and she opens it. Her expression changes. It's a book on the history of jazz that made him think of what she told him about Neil. She remains silent, and he thinks he messed up and overstepped. Lily says the book used to be one of her dad's favorites, but it went missing. Damien hopes it's not bringing up painful memories. Tearing up, she says it's a wonderful gift. You don't know how much this means to me. Thank you. Lily goes on about the amazing coincidence. Damien wonders if it's the same one. Lily will check to see if his notes are in there. Damien asks if Neil has ever made his presence known to her since his passing. Lily feels him when he needs him. Damien feels Jackson too. It feels like he's guided him there to his family. Lily thanks him again for the book. Damien's glad it's well received. They joke, and she tells him again she loves the book. Lily has something for him, too. Holden listens in. Audra meets Victor at the club, and she tells him her connections are excited about Vibrante and is brainstorming marketing plans. She's made the most of her first installment. If she could get more funds soon, that would be helpful. He says it's contingent on her coming through regarding their arrangement with Kyle Abbott. His reputation should be in tatters by now. Audra assures him Kyle is perfectly positioned for a fall. She asks if he's secured invites for her and Kyle. Holden appears and listens as she talks about getting Kyle away from Claire. Victor tells her she and Kyle Abbott are on the list. It's time to pack your things. Audra gushes about Victor coming through for her, but all he wants to talk about is her getting results with Kyle Abbott. Time is of the essence. She gets up and walks out, and Holden follows her. She asks what he wants. He congratulates her on her invite to France. He knew she was up to something with Kyle, and she's doing it on Victor's orders. How fascinating, Audra tells him to mind his own business. He wants to be her stowaway in France. At his table, Victor watches them. Audra tells Holden that Victor doesn't take kindly to people spying on him. Holden worries she's gotten herself into a situation that might come back to haunt her. It wouldn't be the first time. He asks why she'd put herself in the middle of Victor and Jack's feud. He heard enough to know that Victor expects her to handle Kyle. What does he expect you to do? He asks. Victor continues to watch. Holden asks Audra if she's sabotaging Kyle's relationship with Claire to fund her business. If it's at Victor's request, it makes sense, as he wants to undermine the Abbotts. It also explains why she's been flirty with the head of a competing company. Audra snaps at him. Will he actually stand there and judge her with all of the things she knows about him? She informs him she's grasping at straws and reminds him he knows what she's capable of when crossed. Victor keeps tabs on the conversation from his table. Kyle dodges a question. At the Abbott mansion, Jack and Kyle talk business in the dining room. Kyle tells his dad he'll handle everything while he's at Dumas's party in France. Jack has every faith in his leadership. They go over Aristotle's bold move and wonder at the reason behind it. Jack thinks he's trying to get a lay of the land. He's planning a move into Genoa City, or against Genoa City and the people in it, Jack declares. Jack and Kyle talk about Victor being part of the party. Jack still wants to go and figure out who this Dumas guy is. He asks about Kyle's offer to Victor regarding Claire. Kyle tries to brush it off, but Jack wants to know what it entails. Kyle's phone rings. It's Claire. He says, "Whoa, what happened? Tell me what's going on." Moving to the foyer, Kyle disconnects with Claire and tells Jack they're moving Cole to a hospital in Chicago known for treating pneumonia. She and Victoria are stressed out. They hope he gets better. Suddenly, Diane comes in loaded down with shopping bags. She defends that she was supporting Lauren's business, buying things for Dumas' party. Considering the guest list, what to wear might be the least of their worries. They sit, and Diane tells Kyle to pass along their thoughts to Claire. Jack brings up Kyle's contract with Victor again. Kyle insists he has it under control. Jack's unconvinced, and Diane says any deal with Victor has strings attached. Kyle assures them it's just a precaution. Jack wants to know the details. Kyle will tell them, but not now. He hasn't told Claire yet. Diane warns that Victor might be using Cole's illness to his advantage. He sent him to Chicago. Kyle says that's cold. She says, "That's Victor." Jack thinks Diane is right, but Kyle just wants them to trust him. He announces he has to go to a lunch meeting and leaves. Jack and Diane wonder if they made their point. Diane changes the subject. She wants to show him her purchases for their trip. They go over adding Dumas's party to their itinerary. Diane muses it might be the highlight of their trip. Jack's not sure about that. Diane thinks it's important for Jabot that they attend. She wants to figure out who Dumas is as much as Jack does. She realized that this is the first time that she'll be attending an event as not just his wife, but a power player in her own right. Jack says it's put a bit of a glint in her eye. Diane and Jack discuss preparing for whatever Dumas may be, planning. Diane hopes he doesn't make the mistake of underestimating them. She says anyone who tries to mess with their family will have to answer to both of them. Jack wants to go for lunch and brainstorm how best to be prepared. He tells her she's dazzling and they kiss. Audra extends an invitation at the club. Audra tells Holden he needs to back off. Holden wondered how long it would take her to bring up what happened in Los Angeles. She warns him not to keep messing with her. Not about this. He says fine. He'll just ask her to bring him back a souvenir. Kyle walks in and asks, "Everything okay here?" Holden says everything's fine. He was just leaving. He'll leave him in Audra's very capable hands. Victor peers over his glasses as Kyle tells Audra that she and Holden always seem ready to tear each other apart or tear each other's clothes off. Audra explains that what they had meant more to him than it did to her. Kyle muses, ouch. He changes the subject to her marketing idea of battling publicly. Audra is sure Jabot could use some fresh ideas. This will be a mutually beneficial campaign. All eyes will be on us. Kyle doubts that. She wonders if he's afraid to play against her. He smirks. What's your next step? She has the perfect idea for their first public battle. Audra tells Kyle she's been invited to a private party in France. Kyle frowns. You were invited to Dumas' event. He asks how she managed that. Audra reminds him she's been in business for a while, and Vibrante already has buzz. Kyle will hear her out, so they head to the bar. Victor observes as she tells Kyle that her idea is to turn their visit with Dumas into a competition. Which perfume would the mogul prefer for his wife or girlfriend? Kyle asks, why Dumas? Audra says this is a chance for the public to get some insight on him. It will get them a ton of eyeballs and they'll play up their rivalry. Kyle has to run it by his dad. He'll be the one in Nice. Audra flips her hair and says, I'd rather you'd be the one taking me on. Audra explains that Kyle is the young, hot CEO. It would be a mistake for him not to be the one taking on her young, hip startup. Kyle says Aristotle didn't invite him. She says she has a +1. Kyle can't leave town right now. Audra tells him they'd be selling sex and drive the world crazy. No offense to his father, but there's more of a spark between the two of them. Kyle says it's not going to happen. Audra asks him to think it over. It's in both of their best interests. You know I'm right. Kyle walks off and Victor approaches to warn Audra she'll have to do better than that. Otherwise, this whole venture is for naught. On his way out, Victor passes Jack and Diane. She tells him there's something he should know. They've decided to attend Dumas' event in Nice. Victor says he's the reason for the event. Dumas considers him a worthy adversary. Unlike you. He's sure they're just pawns in a bigger game. He suggests they stay home. They trade barbs, and Jack says he thinks Dumas has other plans for them. Victor says, just wait. Holden explodes at Crimson Lights. Lily tells Damien that Nate and Devin are open to bringing Holden into his division at Winters. Damien admits he's having second thoughts about that, and Holden is too. He was furious with him. Damien thinks he's come to resent the fact that he's his boss. Perhaps they shouldn't work in the same division. Lily asks if he's sure he doesn't want Holden in his division. Holden walks in just in time to hear Damien say he's not sure he and Holden should be working together anymore at all. Holden fumes. So that's it, huh? He accuses him of tossing his best friend aside. Holden keeps going on, and Lily interjects. Holden keeps going on, and Lily interjects to say Damien wants what's best for both of them. She tries to make her exit, but Holden tells her not to bother. He reminds Damien that he sent him in as his surrogate, and they surprised him with his dying mother, which pissed him off. Now, he has his mom back and his brother and cousins. He's glad he found a place with his new family, but he didn't expect to get left out in the cold. Damien wants to fix this, but Holden says it's clear. Their friendship is over. Have a nice life, Damien. Damien shakes his head as he walks out. Lily suggests Damien give Holden a minute to cool off. She's sure he can fix this. Damien isn't so sure. He's right. He took him for granted. Lily thinks he's more upset about the personal than the professional. Damien has been so focused on his family, he didn't get how that felt for him. Lily thinks he needs to hear how much their relationship means to him. Damien says Holden has always been there for him. They always had each other's backs. And I've blown it. Lily reaches out and touches his hand. He looks up at her, with slight surprise. The glass glinted in Audra's hand as she swirled the crimson liquid, its slow vortex echoing the storm she'd been stirring behind closed doors for weeks. From her penthouse balcony overlooking the city, everything below seemed serene, perfect. But perfection was always an illusion, especially when Holden Drake was involved. Tonight, she whispered to herself, her voice calm but electric with purpose. No more hiding. The plan had been meticulous. Emails scrubbed, burner phones disposed of, allies aligned like pawns awaiting a signal. Audra wasn't impulsive. She wasn't emotional. She was deliberate. And if Holden had ever taken her for weak, that illusion was about to be shattered. Chapter 2. The man who had it all, Holden Drake, was the kind of man who walked into a room and silenced it. Not out of fear, not yet, but awe. Wealth dripped off him like a cologne. Charm curled around his words like smoke. CEO of Draconis International, a tech conglomerate with a questionable moral compass, Holden had built his empire on secrets and stolen brilliance. Some of that brilliance had once belonged to Audra. Years ago, they'd been partners, in every sense of the word. Co-creators, co-founders, lovers. Until Holden cut her out, both from the company and his bed, replacing her with boardroom sycophants and icy, sculpted PR dolls. But Audra hadn't spent the last 3 years licking her wounds. She'd built her own network, in shadows, in whispers, in bits of stolen code and sabotaged patents, and now she had everything she needed to detonate his life from the inside. Chapter 3. The spark Audra's fingers tapped rapidly on her laptop, the rhythmic sound like a countdown drum. A progress bar blinked. Uploading 82%. Come on, she muttered, watching her Trojan worm its way through the firewalls of Draconis' mainframe. The moment the upload completed, every dirty transaction, every NDA-locked scandal, every line of proprietary code Holden had stolen would be released. It wasn't just revenge, it was justice. As the final byte transferred, her secure messenger pinged. Harper. Phase 1 complete. He's still in the building. You sure you want the package? Delivered tonight? Audra replied. Audra. Tonight. 8 p.m. Make it personal. She closed the laptop, stood, and adjusted the emerald pendant resting against her collarbone, the last gift Holden ever gave her. Soon, it would be the first piece of evidence in a very public reckoning. Chapter 4. The package Holden was halfway through a glass of Yamazaki 18 when the courier arrived. Dressed in all black with a branded DX Secure badge, the man handed him a small box, signed nothing, and vanished. Inside the box was a USB drive and a handwritten note, to the man who built a throne out of lies. Let's see how long you can sit on it when the truth sets fire to the foundation. Tick-tock. Holden stared at the note for a full 10 seconds. The handwriting hadn't changed. Neat. Vicious. Audra. She wouldn't, he murmured. But a flicker of doubt crept in. He shoved the USB into an air-gapped laptop. What he saw drained the color from his face. Emails, voice memos, encrypted transfers. A video of him shouting at a whistleblower in a locked conference room. Internal memos instructing engineers to scrub crash reports on an autonomous drone program. And worse, boardroom clips hinting at blackmail, collusion, espionage. Holden stood up so fast he nearly knocked over the tumbler. "Where the hell did she get this?" he barked, already dialing his chief security officer. But the line didn't connect. Disconnected. Chapter 5. The Detonation. Begins at precisely 8 p.m. News outlets began reporting a massive data leak at Draconis International. Social media exploded with hashtags. Draconis leaks, Holden exposed. Audra's Revenge CNN was already rolling footage of investors fleeing the building. The DOJ announced an investigation, and a class action lawsuit had been filed by a group of grieving families who had lost loved ones to a supposedly safe defense prototype. In the chaos, Holden burst into his private server room, or what was left of it. Every drive had been wiped. The backups? Gone. The failsafes? Tampered with. His entire digital empire had been burned to the ground. "Audra!" he screamed, slamming a monitor off its stand. But it wasn't over. Not yet. Chapter 6. The video by midnight, a video began circulating on YouTube and TikTok. Audra, dressed in a sharp black blazer, stood in front of a marble backdrop. Her voice was calm, her eyes ice. "My name is Audra Vexley. I was one of the original architects of Draconis International. 3 years ago, I was pushed out, gaslit, and threatened into silence. I was told I was just a woman in tech,